अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं यदस्थितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्याप्य सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। वसुदेवसुतं देवं तं सचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भवानी शंकरौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याज्ञां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्थमीश्वरम्। बन्धमोचनाय जय अग्रगण्याय बन्धमोचनाय जय अग्रगण्याय बन्धमोचनाय जय अग्रगण्याय अचिन्त्यरूपाय जय नित्यतृप्ताय अचिन्त्यरूपाय जय नित्यतृप्ताय अचिन्त्यरूपाय जय नित्यतृप्ताय केवलात्माय जय पूर्णरूपाय केवलात्माय सर्वविद्यास्वरूपाय लक्ष्मी संश्लिष्टवक्षसे मधुपासनलक्ष्याय हयग्रीवाय मङ्गलम् शङ्खचक्रमहामुद्रा पुस्तकाढ्यं चतुर्भुजम् सम्पूर्णचन्द्रसङ्काशम् हयग्रीवमुपास्महे ज्ञानानन्दमयं रामम् निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं तत्त्वविद्यानाम् हयग्रीवायितं नुमः हयग्रीवायितं नुमः शङ्कराचार्यनवावतारम् विश्वेश्वरं विश्वगुरुं प्रणम्य वेदान्तशास्त्र श्रवणालसाना बोधाय कुर्वे किमपि प्रबन्धम् श्रीमद्हयग्रीव पदारविन्द कारुण्यमानन्द रसप्रसङ्ग मन्दाशयोद्धारण बद्धबुद्धिः सिद्धान्तबिन्दुम् विपुलीकरोमि सिद्धान्तबिन्दुम् विपुलीकरोमि Consciousness does not recognize separation because this separation is a limitation of perception. The limited entity, through its perception, perceives the consciousness as separation because of the ignorance and the superimposition. So, since the consciousness in itself does not have any ignorance or superimposition, it does not recognize separation. There is no separation that consciousness recognizes because it sees everything as itself, because there is nothing other than itself. The enlightened state is a oneness in which there are no divisions or parts. In state of enlightenment, which is nothing but oneness, there is neither division nor parts. Because there is only oneness that is experienced. If there is any division that is apparent, it is only because from a localized perception, because of the localized perception. And that localized perception is only an accident of a point of view. It is a point of view. That is all. That also is an accident of a point of view. That localized perception. Accident because it is ignorance and then superimposition and then delusion and then this perception. So what else it is? What else it can be? Even when we are driving our vehicle, if there is ignorance, then there is superimposition and then there is delusion. What else will happen? It will only be accident. So, accident of a point of view is a point of view. Accident of a point of view. Or the separation, the division, the parts. Whether it is a division outside or division inside. Because actually, in essence, in consciousness, there is no division. It is only one continuous consciousness, unbroken, akhanda. Chaitanya, consciousness, that is all it is. So, when we go beyond this localized perception of the ego, which itself is a limited entity, when we go beyond it, then we see oneness. There is no need to attempt togetherness because there is oneness. When we are not together, we have to attempt to come together. We are one, never separate. And that is the state of all fullness, where there is no division, no part, so nothing. All full nothingness. The infinite, ultimate potentiality is the actuality of existence. What is the actuality of existence? The infinite, ultimate potentiality. And what is that? And that is divinity. The infinite, ultimate potentiality is divinity, which is the actuality of existence. Meaning the actuality of existence is divinity. So, all that is innately divine. Whatever is from a localized point of view, good, bad, indifferent, undivine, evil, whatever it might say, but all that is innately divine. If we go into the inside of it, innermost core of it, the inside, the presence, the essence of it, it is divinity, only divine. But only the localized perception makes it look something else other than the divine. That is why it is said the absolute expression of divinity is subjectivity. If I can recognize this subjectivity inside me, that is the absolute expression of divinity. To become aware of it, to become conscious of it, to be it, to be one with it, to be it. That is the absolute expression of divinity. That is all it is, that is all we have to gain or attain if you want to use the language of localized perception. What else you have to gain? What is the absolute expression of divinity? Our subjectivity. So to be it, that is all. Get out of the identification of oneself as the ego or the mind or the internal organ. And then just be one with the divinity, which is the absolute expression, which is called as subjectivity. So that is why it is said, if I exist, then God exists. Meaning, God alone exists as the real I in me. When God alone exists as the real I in me, the real I exists. So when with the false I, as the false I, with the false I, as the false I, if I recognize the presence of the real I, then I exist, God exists. If I exist, God exists. So I exist, that is easy to understand. I have to exist, even to live in this false I, the egoistic I, the limited I. The faulty perceiver called as I. If I exist, God exists. So before doubting the existence of God, let us look at ourselves. Do I exist? How do I exist? Consciously I existed. Awarefully I existed. As consciousness I existed. As awareness I existed. That is what is divinity. That is what is said. If I exist, God exists. That existence is itself divinity. So if we remain with our innermost subjective essence, that itself is divinity. That is all it is. That is the only thing that we have to do. If that we can do, nothing else need to be done. Because that is the source of supreme happiness, which is connected to divinity. Divinity alone is the truth, is the reality. That alone has to be attained, that alone has to be gained. That is the only ultimate goal of the human life. Even though there are other goals which dilute this pursuit, but the only ultimate goal is the divinity. Enlightenment is the verification that all existence is only the result of creation. It is a verification that all that exists is only the result of creation. Existence itself is not different from the Creator. That is why it is said that created and the Creator are one. But that alone exists. That alone is real. That alone can be real. If something exists, that exists because it is created. And the Creator alone brought out everything from within Himself. With a different perception, we may say it is Maya, it is Avidya, it is Ajnana, it is Abhyakrita, so on and so forth. But ultimately, that also has existence only in Brahman, only in God, only in the divinity. So whatever is created, the creation is only because of the Creator. The Creator alone is the creation. What else can be there? What else? In the absolute state of realization, Maya also is not there. So then what is there then? God alone is. If we understand that the Creator and the creation are one and the same, then the created or whatever is the creation can lead us into divinity. Can open up the door to divinity. Instead of deluding us, instead of misleading us, with this understanding, if we approach the creation will take us into the divinity. The way to go there is through spiritual alignment. We have to align ourselves as an individual jiva who is conditioned by the internal organ, added to that the superimposition and the ignorance. So we have to align with the spirituality. The spiritual alignment is important. First one, spiritual alignment. Alignment is a very matured adjustment. Otherwise, our mind is rigid, stubborn, fixed. If this is like that, then only I accept. But alignment, it adjusts, it understands, it relaxes, flexible. So we have to learn first spiritual alignment with spirituality. Second thing is intention. Our intention has to be pure. We need that pure spiritual intention. Third thing is devotion. Alignment, intention, and devotion is required. Accepting the truth that the divinity has manifested as various forms of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Devi, and Devatas, all for our worship and for our upasana. If you understand that, then we will have devotion. The next one is contemplation. You have to continuously contemplate with a steady mind upon one single statement of understanding. Thereafter, the contemplation leads us into the next thing, meditation. Spiritual alignment, intention, devotion, contemplation, meditation, and all these must be connected with authenticated instruction from the scripture. The pramana from the scripture, authenticated instruction. Otherwise, anybody can give any instruction. Authenticated instruction. and ultimately the truthfulness must be there with us. If we combine all of them, spiritual alignment, intention, devotion, contemplation, meditation, authenticated instruction, and the truth, along with it, if we have surrender and defeat of the master who is genuine and who has attained that state of oneness, then the energy field of the master, the conscious energy field of the master who has attained that absolute state, because of our surrender and defeat of the great master, that also will come to our help and it will support us to be well tuned with all these practices, and it leads us into that attainment of one's own true nature and that divinity. If we can't do individually, with the assistance, aid and help of the energy field of the master, we will be made to move closer to that attainment and ultimately attain it. Our own sadhana will not be able to take us there. God's grace also is required, Guru's krupa also is required. So if we can understand and practice like this, we will attain that. All this is very important. But at the same time, if we look at it from the transactional standpoint, all these are valued. Because from transactional standpoint, we need to purify, we need to move ahead, we need to progress, we need to make things free from obstacles, we need to really concentrate, focus. So from transactional standpoint, all these things are there. But again, from the absolute standpoint, none of these things are there because consciousness alone is there. Na shastra, na shastram, na shishyo, na siksha, na chatvam, na chaham, na vayam prapancha, swarupa vabodho, vikalpa sahisnuhu, tadevo vasishtah, Sivakevaloham, Tadeko Vasishtah, Sivakevaloham. What else I can exist as? Tadeko Vasishtah. When all is negated, there is only one thing that remains unsupplated, unnegated, unrefuted. That is only that Kevala, one, without anything, one and only one. And that alone is the auspicious thing. Because that has not got anything other than itself. That has not got any ignorance. That has not got any avidya. That has not got any adhyasa. That has not got anything else other than itself. So there is no impurity. So there is no inauspiciousness. There is only auspiciousness. And it's Kevala, meaning it is without anything else. And that alone is I, that alone am I. So when I exist like that in that state, na shastra, na shastram, na shishyo, na siksha, na chatvam, na chaham, na vayam prapancha. There is neither the nature. Because I alone exist. Consciousness alone he is. Oneness alone he is. Not dual reality alone he is. There is neither the teacher nor the scriptures. Because one is attained, one is gone beyond all these pointers. So there is no need for anything to teach anything to this person because he is that what he can be. He is that consciousness. That alone he is. Even the scriptures also arise only from the standpoint of avidya and maya. So neither the student nor the instruction. There is neither the student nor even the instruction. No more instructions are required. So people keep thinking, why others instruct me? Why others tell me to do this? Why others tell me to do that? Why all this is happening? Sometimes this is a big pressure in our mind. Our ego goes in one way, our stupidity goes in one way, somebody instructs somewhere, it resists, it reacts, it goes on thinking that my thinking alone is correct. Because the ego is like that, localized perception, division, parts, fragmentation, it will think like that. So naturally it will not accept. Naturally it will want to throw the blame on something. That is only your survival. We need to get rid of that. If you want to get rid of that, if you want nobody to give us any instruction, get into this state of oneness with consciousness, where no instruction reaches us, where there is no need for instruction, where we will not even react because there is nobody. I alone is. Nachatvam nacha. Neither I am there as the ego. Now you are there as other than I, a limited ego. Egos are not existent. The limited individualities are not there. The upadhis are not there. They are only appearances. When upadhis are not there, antakaranas are not there, then where is this I? This I which is called as Chidabhasa is a reflection in the antakarana because of the Ajnana. The internal organ is a byproduct of the Ajnana. That is not because of that I am the reflection. That is what I say I, that is what is you. And the internal organ is there. So then there is no Chidabhasa. There is no Jivatva in me. There is no Jivatva in you. There is no you. There is no I. This you and I itself is a big illusory thing. If you are not there, I am not there. I am not there. That is all. There is no question of I am like this, I am like that, you made me like that, you are the cause for me to become like that. You are not there. Finished. Then what else will happen? I as you, Chidabhasa is not there. So how can I become like this because of you? You are not there, I am not there. Then what? What else is there? Consciousness alone is Tadeko Vasishtaha Shivakevaloham. That alone is there. Nava Ayam Prapancha. Even this world is not there. Consciousness alone exists. The world is also not there. No, we said the world is there, the burden is there, pressure is there, tension is there, responsibility is there. My God, I can't tolerate, I can't withstand, I can't manage it. It is very heavy. I don't know what all things are happening. I know everything everywhere is going haywire. I don't know, I can't understand. What is all this? So this world is not there. You want to run away from one particular portion in the world. World itself is not there. There is a question of running away. Wherever we run, the world alone will be there. With the intention of with the idea that we are moving away from one portion to another portion. Portion is same. That mentality of portions is itself their fragmentation. Seeing the division, seeing the parts in one consciousness. With that intention, wherever we go, we create more divisions. More divisions is more sadness, more suffering, more misery. Wherever we go. Going somewhere is not going to get us anything. Being will get us ultimately. Neither doing nor doing, just being with the consciousness, as the consciousness. Swarupa Avabodho Vikalpa Sadishnu. The knowledge of one's own real nature. One's real nature does not admit of different perceptions. It will not admit of different perceptions. Vikalpa Asadishnu. It will not accept, it will not allow all other vikalpas. Swarupa Avabodho Vikalpa Sadishnu. One's own real nature knowledge. Now what knowledge we have? We have knowledge about our own limited individuality, that also in a wrong manner. And then we have knowledge about all other things, what they are doing, what they are not doing, what they are supposed to do, what they are not supposed to do. They are doing what they are not supposed to do, they are not doing what they are supposed to do. This is what is the story everywhere. In every relationship, in every group, every family, every institution, every organization, every association, same thing. They are doing like this, they are doing like that. They should not have done this, they should have done this. That's all it is. What else is there? Same story. Roles, people might be different, that's all. Same complaint everywhere. Same thing goes on. Wherever we go. In the transactional world, this alone will be there. That is why this knowledge, what has it done to us? Since years, since birth, we have been having this knowledge. What good it has done to us? We came with ignorance and sadness, we go with ignorance and sadness. That's all. So that is why let us try for the knowledge of the inner self, knowledge of the consciousness, knowledge of the reality. Swarupa Avabodho Vikalpa Sadishnu Tadeko Vasishta Vivakevaloham. If I remain with my innermost self, which is the most auspicious and the eternal thing. What else can be there except the Chaitanya Ananda? That is all it is. It is the reality, it is consciousness, it is blissfulness. That alone will be there. If I leave that, then all other things will enter. That is why Madhusudana Saraswati continues to say, Na Shastrevi Shastra Upadeshakarta Guru. Shastra means the Guru who instructs. Shastra Upadeshakarta. Shastra means instruction, the means of instruction. Shishya Upadesha Karma. Shishya is the object of instruction. Shiksha Upadesha Kriya. Shiksha is the act of instruction. So all these in the absolute state are not there. Tvam Shrota. Tvam means the listener. Aham Bhakta. Aham means this speaker. Neither the speaker is there, nor the listener is there. But the speaker is speaking and listener is listening. Neither the speaker is there as the limited individuality, nor the listener is there as the individual limited notionality. But what is there? Consciousness alone is there. So there are words. Madhusudana Saraswati said, the purport is that the world is revealed by all the means of knowledge, the body, the senses, so on and so forth, which are the cause of all adversities. Actually, they do not have any real existence. There is no real existence for all these things. And then he said, even though no purpose is served by debating whether the cessation of nescience is identical with the self or not self, the realization of one's own real nature, which is the result of the knowledge, is actual experience. The result of knowledge is realization of one's own true nature. So there is no debate. No need to debate how this happens, because a debate becomes impossible when all duality had been destroyed. Through debate we may not reach there, because the duality has to be vanished. It gets destroyed. So, in the connection with actual experience, there is no need for any logic. The actual experience is beyond all these things. So that is why here it is said, Madhusudana Saraswati says, citing the Shruti statement from the Gaudapada Karika, Na nirodho, na cha utpattihi, na baddho, na cha sadhakaha, na mumukshuhu, na vai muktaha, ityesha paramarthaha. There is no dissolution. Na nirodho, there is no dissolution. Na cha utpattihi, there is no origination. Na baddha, there is no one who is bound. Na cha sadhakaha, there is no aspirant or the seeker after liberation. There is no one who is trying. Na mumukshuhu, there is no one who is having burning desire for liberation. Na vai muktaha, there is no one who is liberated. Ityesha paramarthaha, this is the reality according to Mandukya Karika. Somebody who is interpreting na baddhaha said na buddhaha. That also is not there. Now buddhaha means there is no one who is enlightened also. Because you can't say that there is somebody who is enlightened, only consciousness is there. Enlightened also is a word that is connected with the one who is not enlightened earlier. So that also is no need to be used. So what is there? All these are not there. Divinity alone is there, existence. So we can't say that this is like that. So then he said, Brahma idam agra asit tad atmanameva ave aham brahmasmi iti tasmat tat sarvam abhavat. From the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is taken, it says, Brahman alone, Brahma idam agra asit. Brahman alone was there in the beginning. Who was there in the beginning? Meaning, with reference to creation. Beginning. Who was there in the beginning? Brahman alone was there in the beginning. Even Brahman only supports a time which begins and thereafter everything will begin in time. Time also begins in him only. So what was there in the beginning? Brahman alone was there in the beginning. Tat Atmanameva Aved. It knows itself as Aham Brahmasmi iti. I am Brahman. It knows itself as I am Brahman. That is all it knows. Brahman alone was there in the beginning, and what it knows? We know so many things. Poor Brahman doesn't have that much of intelligence what we have, because he knows so many things. Brahman doesn't know anything, only it knows itself. How? As Aham Brahmasmi. We Aham Brahmasmi. Deluded person. So, Brahman knows only Aham Brahmasmi. Tasmat tat sarvam abhavat. Therefore, it became everything. Brahman alone was there in the beginning, and it knows Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, and then it became everything. That was Brahman alone became everything. So the Creator alone is the created, is the creation. Please understand this. Show that all these things show that the Jiva, which was even earlier, he was there earlier, and he was of the nature of Brahman. This Jiva was even earlier, and he was of the nature of Brahman. Attained the nature of Brahman through knowledge. Jiva, who was even earlier of the nature of Brahman, attained Brahman through the knowledge. How to say it, how to understand that? Saint Madhusudana Saraswati gives an example. A shell, an oyster shell, a pearl shell, which appeared as silver, can be said to have become a shell when the delusion of silveriness is removed. When the delusion of silveriness is removed, it became the shell. Because once the silveriness is appearing on the shell, only one thing appears. Shell doesn't appear. Silveriness only appears. That silveriness is gone, that Rajatam is gone, Shukti alone. So it has become Shukti. It has become that seashell. Though it was always the shell, it was always the pearl shell. Because of the silveriness, we did not see the pearl shell. Once the delusion of the pearl shell is removed, it became the shell, pearl shell, which it was always pearl shell. That is what is becoming Brahman, with the knowledge becoming Brahman. It was always Brahman. It was always nothing else other than Brahman. That is why from that standpoint, na Shasta, na Shastram, that is all it is. Nothing is there. But Brahman alone became Brahman how? Because the illusion was there, the illusory, superimposed expression was there. The snake gone, the rope was rope earlier also. It appeared as a snake, snake delusion removed, and it became rope. What becoming rope? It was always rope. If it is becoming in period of time, then it was not that, then it also becomes limited. So that is why this is what is said as the essence here. And then we take the help of Ramaraya Kavi in Siddhanta Sindhu. Ramaraya Kavi says, Dasha Shloki is nothing but analysis of Tattvamasi Mahavakya. He says that. First three slokas, Na Bhumir, Na Goyam, Na Varna, Na Varna, Shramacharya Dharma, and then Namata, Pita, like that. All these first three slokas explain about the word Tvam, Thou. The next three slokas, Nasankyam, and then na Chorvam, and then na Shastam, na Shuklam, na Pitam. All these 3, 4, 5, 6 slokas explain about the word Tat, Tat, That. They explain about that. Analyze and discuss about the word Tat, That, Ishvara, or God. And now from na Shasta, na Shastram, the Asi in Thou. Art that, first 3 slokas, Thou, second 3 slokas, That. Now, here afterwards from 7th sloka, Asi, Art, that is being analyzed or discussed according to Ramaraya. In brief, he says this. In briefly, I am of the form of Sukham. You have already seen this, analyzed very deep. I am of the form of Sukham, I am of the form of happiness. So in that state where I am of the form of happiness, the samsara is not visible. When the samsara is not visible, then what am I? I am Satchidananda Rupam. I am the real, conscious, blissful form. I am that real, conscious blissfulness. In the waking state, due to the identification with the internal organ of Antakarana, I am experiencing Sukham and Dukkham. I am experiencing, the moment I wake up, I am experiencing because of the identification with the internal organ, Sukham is there, Dukkham is there. Nothing remains steady. That comes, goes. This comes, goes. Keeps coming, keeps going. So, do I have these things naturally? Naturally, I do not have these things. Naturally, I don't have, because initially they are not there. Actually, they are not there. But only because of my identification, they are there. So then, if they are not actually there, originally there, really there, truly there, then what am I? I am Brahman. Hence, I am Brahman. So if this is resolved, the Jiva takes up what? Aham, Brahman, Asmi, I am Brahman, alone, that's all. So then if he takes up I am Brahman, then what happens? Because of rejecting, eradicating the superimposition or the superimposed identification with the body, with the senses, with the internal organ, and various other things, through contemplation, one gains Atma Sakshatkara, self-realization. We need to eradicate, we need to reject the superimposed identification with all these things, body, sensors, internal organ, etc., their contents, and their connection with the world, all that has to be rejected. And then only the Atma Sakshatkara can happen. So the self-realization, meaning attaining Brahman. So that is why Ramarayakavi says, Brahmavit, Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman, remains as Brahman. Afterwards, he is Brahman. The knower, he is Brahman. So that knowing is still there from a transactional standpoint. We need to put forth efforts and attempt to know. Sentences like Tattvamasi, Ramarayakavi says, during Shravana, they teach Upadesham of Brahmatvam. When we are listening during Shravana, they teach Upadesham of Brahmatvam. And during Manana, they teach the Akhandata of Chaitanya. The unbrokenness, the meaning of unbrokenness, the unbroken nature of the consciousness, the indivisibility of the consciousness. So, Shravana and Manana both are required. And Ramarayakavi, to make it more simple and easy, says one gives the Vachartha, another gives the Lakshartha. Both are necessary. So, this is acceptable as per the logic. So, Jiva thinks himself as samsari because of avidya. For eradicating avidya, what is required? Brahma Bhava Upadesha is required. That Brahma Bhava Upadesha. So, avidya itself is intervention or obstruction or the screen. So, that screen has to be removed. It is like the presence of the mirror between the bimba and the pratibimba. The original face is there, and then there is a mirror, and there is a pratibimba. So, what is the obstruction there? Take out the mirror, there is no more pratibimba. Take out the maya, take out the avidya, take out the ajnana, there is no more world. What remains? Bimba alone remains. Bimba is not even referred as original. Why? Sureshwaracharya says, we have taken up it in detail in the series called as Thrill Beyond Stillness. So, it is not even referred as original. Why? Because original name comes to it only when there is something which is not original, which is Pratibimba is there. Then, with a reference to Pratibimba, there is an original face. Actually, face is face. Why the original tag? Face is face. That is what Sureshwaracharya says. Consciousness is there. Because of the reflection due to the mirror, due to the avidya, because that reflection is there, then discuss the tag of original. The tag of original is called as Ishvara, and then the reflection is called as Jiva. Both are not actually existing, only with the reference to each other they are existing. That's what Sureshwaracharya said. What remains is consciousness. Face alone is, consciousness alone is. That is what Sureshwaracharya says. So that is why we need Brahma Bhava Upadesha. With the Brahma Bhava Upadesham, the avidya, which is in between Bimba and Prabimba, which is the cause for difference, that gets eradicated by this Brahma Bhava Upadesha Jnana. That is required. Brahma Bhava Upadesham is required, so we attain Jnana, and then that which causes the difference is removed. Once that is gone, na chaham, na chattvam, na vayam, prapancha, there is neither I nor you, nor even this world. Because there is nothing that creates difference. Difference, whatever creates difference is gone. No differences are there. All the time when we have differences, we don't understand is actually differences are only limitations of perceptions of the ego. That only sees divisions, that only sees differences. Only the consciousness is that which cannot see these differences and divisions because it sees only oneness. And that alone is divinity, that alone is our subjectivity. In all the subjectivity is the same divinity, which is oneness. We need not become one, we are already one, we have to recognize that we are one. So, Ramaraya Kavi says, if this is understood, then there is sarvanukatvam for the Brahman, meaning what? Accompanying all, or following all, or going after all. Sarvanukatvam. And then Sarva Bhasakatvam also is there for Brahman, illumining all. Accompanying all, Sarvanukatvam, Sarva Bhasakatvam, illumining all. Both are there. Actually, Ramaraya says both are not lakshanas of Brahman, qualities of Brahman, properties of Brahman, because they are there only with reference to all. If all is there, then something that accompanies all will be there. If all is there, something that illumines all will be there. Only with the reference to that, they say Sarvanukatvam, Sarva Bhasakatvam is there. They are not distinctive marks or attributes or qualities of Brahman. They are fabrications, they are imaginations, they are kalpana. That is all. So if Sarvam is there, then Sarvanugati exists. If Sarvam is true, then Sarvanugati will become true. If witnessing is there, the witness will be there. If seen is there, Drishyam is there, then the Drik, the seer is there. If the world is Nitya, then Anugatam of Brahman also is Nitya. Accompanying all also is Nitya. If there is a second entity, then the non-duality of Brahman also is affected. So because of the presence of avidya, which makes the difference and then makes it appear as dual, that is removed, then there is only one thing, that is non-duality. Non-duality alone is there. Then we can't say he pervades all, he is all, even all full nothingness also he can't say. So in what title you have to do? That's all. So all full nothingness also from the relative standpoint only that is there. So teacher asked the student, how many types of women are there? Funny question. So the student said, 2 types. Teacher was surprised. 2 types? What are they? First type. One would like to correct the mistakes of man. The first type is the one who likes to correct the mistakes of man. And what is the second type? The other type is one would like to become mistake. Mistake themselves. One who commit mistakes themselves and become mistakes themselves. The other is one who corrects the mistakes of man. Actually, what is there to be corrected in this world? Ego always needs correction. In itself and in others. Is there an ego which says there is no need to correct anybody at any point of time? Ego needs correction. Always correction. The eruption of ego is correction and corruption. What is that? Everywhere, every time, everybody is wanting to correct the other, to improve the other, because one sees like that. And that itself is a mistake. One oneself has a mistake and tries to correct others' mistakes. The one who is a mistake wants to rectify others' mistakes. What is this? One who knows oneself as Atman sees everybody as Atman. No mistake, no correction. The father asked, looking at the son, I am not pleased with your progress report card from the school. Progress report, I am not pleased with it. The son says, Dad, I knew this. That's why I told the teacher. My dad would not be pleased. But still she insisted that I should take it home. The cause is the teacher, Dad. But actual cause is what? He did not perform well in the exams. But he says, teacher, I told her I will not take it. She insisted, go, show it and get it signed. She is the cause for your unpleasantness. That is how ego thinks always. Somebody else is the cause. It throws the blame on somebody. So no rectification, no correction, no improvisation. But that's what it is. And once somebody asked her, what is the most aggravating thing in married life? What is the most aggravating thing in the married life? The reply was, sometimes the husband, sometimes the wife. That is the, but two are there. Sometimes this side, sometimes that side. That it goes on. Only when that oneness is recognized, there is nothing that aggravates anything. Any behavior aggravates the anger. Anything can aggravate the anger. So when there is only one, there is the question of aggravation. So the total oneness, the vision of oneness is very important. One man was talking to his friend. See, a small thing, a particle, fell into the eye of my wife. And I had to spend 2,000 rupees. A small particle fell into the eye of my wife, and I had to spend 2,000 rupees to get rid of it, 2,000 rupees. The other man said, that is nothing. A small necklace fell into the eye of my wife. I had to spend 2 lakhs of rupees. Diamond. The falling into the eye. You see something and it falls into the eye, and mind falls for it, and then we fall. That's all it is. Anything, it's not wife or asking necklace, anybody seeking anything is that only. When I see something, and mind falls for it, finish. Fall. That's all it is. So that is why the perception of fragmentation because of the egoistic ignorance and superimposition that has to be overcome. We have to improvise ourselves. The teacher asked the student, can you do anything better than others? Is there anything that you can do better than others? The student proudly says, yes teacher, I can read my own handwriting. Better than others. Nobody can read it. I can read. Is that doing something better than others? What we have to do ultimately? We have to start writing our fate lines and our vrittis, our tendencies, our impressions, all as per the scriptures, as per the guidance of the scriptures. Then the writing on the wall will be clear that we will attain only oneness and we will not get into anything which is other than that oneness. Then we will not have any tools of the world in the world. We will know how to face it, how to accept it, how to meet it. Like the teacher said once to a student, suppose your father gets a salary of 4 lakhs of rupees per month. The student said, no, suppose your father gets a 4 lakhs of rupees as salary per month. If he gives half of it to your mother, what will your mother have? The student said, architect. The teacher wanted to extract a sum. If he gives half of it, 2 lakhs. If he gives half of it, he will get 4 lakhs. He will have architect. Because he can never expect that he will do like that. So, only the one who is conscious of the contents and aware of the one who is conscious of the contents and aware of others. That person alone is with that divinity which is subjectivity, and then handle everything with a balance. That is why we need to aim that, we need to reach there, we need to attain. And then, continuing further, Ramaraya Kavi says, the Brahma Bhava Upadesha to Jiva is useless. अभी तक बोले, अभी तक ब्रह्म भाव उपदेश को इम्पोर्टेंट बोले क्या कर दिया अभी आप लोग कभी ऐसा बोलते हैं कभी वैसा बोलते हैं कभी हाई बोलते हैं कभी नहीं बोलते जस्ट करो पर सुनो पूरा the Brahma भाव उपदेश to Jiva is useless from the absolute standpoint but it is useful from the empirical standpoint worldly standpoint transactional standpoint it is very useful so then it says due to Brahma Bhava Upadesham, Jiva gets Nirvikalpa Satchidananda Swarupa Sakshatkara. वो दे दो भाई Brahma Bhava Upadesham. If we get Brahma Bhava Upadesham, the Jiva gets Nirvikalpa, modification-less. No division there also like knower, known, knowing, experiencer, experiencing the experiencer. That also is not there. Nirvikalpa, just that pure oneness is there. Sat, real, Chit, conscious, Ananda, blissfulness, Swarupa, one's own true nature, Sakshatkara, realization of one's own, modification less, Triputi less, duality less, real conscious blissfulness. That we will get this. Realization of one's own true nature as modification less, thoughtless, reality, consciousness and blissfulness. What a beautiful thing. Brahma Bhava Upadesha. Then, continuing further, he says, when we practice it, then there will be a state where Vishranti will come to the internal organ. Vishranti. Vishranti means rest. Rest, it also means the cessation of the functioning of internal organ. Through Brahma Bhava Upadesha, if we continuously do it, take it into Manana level and start, Nididhyasana level and Dhyana level, then we will come to a state where there is Vishranti. Our Vishranti is between two portions of a movie. Interval. Or between two episodes in a TV. Two portions in a movie, two episodes in a TV. Or two fights in a BB. Whatever it is. See, cessation of internal organ, and that is called as Samadhi. Ramaraya says here, Nirvikalpaka Vritti of Advitiya Brahmakara. Nirvikalpaka Vritti, modificationless, changeless, triputi-less, triad-less. Nothing is there. Neither experiencer, experiencer, experience, singer. No one singing that song of experience singer. That Nirvikalpaka Vritti. But the vritti of Advitiya Brahmakara. Advitiya Brahmakara, non-dual Brahman. The vritti of the form of non-dual Brahman alone is there. Vritti of the form of non-dual Brahman. We have vritti of the form of object, dual object. Ignorant ega, ayya. Foolish yuva, stupid world. We have all these vrittis. But here the vritti is of the form of non-dual Brahman. Here it is said, there is no difference between Nirvikalpa means the complete mental absorption, where there is no difference of the knower and the known. The knower and known are not differentiated. The knower and known are one. No knower is knowing the known, both are one. The gone, the differentiation is gone, that is Nirvikalpa. In that vritti, there will be the reflection of the Atma. What is there in the vritti? The reflection of the Atma. By the vritti which is joined with his own reflection, it will be known. This vritti of Jnana Amsha, which is connected with the doership portion of the ego, meaning it is the vritti of the Antakarana, which is connected with the reflection of consciousness, this can be called as pramata vritti. Now it's coming down to the pramata level, the internal organ level. So when we try to know the world, there is a difference. We need to have the pramata, the jiva, the knower, who is trying to know the known. Same thing is connected with that Brahman, because here again jiva has to try to know that Brahman also. He says this can be called as pramata vritti, but not pramana vritti. The pramatru chaitanya in its own vritti is knowing sakshi chaitanya, witness consciousness. The pramatru chaitanya or the jiva in his own vritti, in its own vritti is knowing the sakshi chaitanya, the witnessing consciousness, which is non-different from itself. What do you think? The pramatru chaitanya, from the worldly standpoint, different from sakshi chaitanya. But now he is trying to know with its own vritti, in its own vritti. Pramatru chaitanya in its own vritti is knowing sakshi chaitanya. In its own vritti is knowing sakshi. Pramatru chaitanya is the jiva. The sakshi chaitanya, the witness master, is getting reflected in the vritti. In its own vritti, what is there? Sakshi chaitanya. He is trying to know sakshi chaitanya, which is not different from itself. Because there are no two chaitanyas, two consciousnesses. There is only one consciousness. But it is trying to know that consciousness, which is witnessing consciousness, which is getting reflected in the vritti, in his own vritti. He is trying to know. And continuing further, he says, one consciousness, a very, very beautiful statement, one consciousness, by joining the doership portion of the internal organ, the aham karta portion of the internal organ, one consciousness by joining with the doership portion of the internal organ and joining with the vritti of experience, anubhava vritti, is joining with two things. One consciousness joining with the vritti of the doership portion of internal organ. One consciousness by joining with the doership portion of internal organ and joining with the vritti of experience becomes anubhava karanam, instrument of experience, and anubhava vishayam, object of experience. Brahman alone becomes instrument of experience, object of experience. Brahman alone is anubhava vishayam, object of experience. Brahman alone is anubhava karanam, instrument of experience. How does it become like that? Brahman alone is one consciousness by joining with the doership portion of internal organ. Internal organ is there, doership portion of internal organ is there, joining with that, and then with vritti of experience. There is an experience. The internal organ is gaining that experience. The one who is identified with is gaining that experience. When one consciousness is joined with both doership of the internal organ and vritti of experience, internal organ and vritti of experience, then it becomes instrument of experience and object of experience. Brahman alone is the instrument of experience, object of experience. So what else? The experience itself is jnana. So Brahman alone is. So with the help of Brahma Upadesha Brahmakara Vritti, Nirvikalpa Brahmakara Vritti, we can attain Brahman. But Brahman alone, with the help of that, is object of experience also, instrument of experience also. We will remain as Brahman. So to put it in one statement, Ramayana says, Atma is experiencing Atma through Atma. Atma is experiencing Atma through Atma. Then he says, the Atma which is Pramata gains the knowledge of its own nature, Swarupa Avabodha. The Atma which is Pramata, the Bhava, the Jiva, gains the knowledge of its own Swarupa, its own true nature. In pure consciousness, there is neither Pramata nor any attempt to know the pure consciousness. In pure consciousness, these things are not there. In Shuddha Brahman, these things are not there. Even the Nirvikalpa Vritti in Shuddha Brahman does not exist. Even that Vritti does not exist. If anything else remains, then Brahman becomes dual. So knowledge of one's own nature is not an object in the mall so that we can go in and buy or gain or attain. Each individual has to gain it within oneself, by oneself, on their own. From the relative standpoint, this Brahma Jnana is sadhya. So the sadhana is Brahma Jnana. Brahmabhava Upadesha. And sadhaka is the Brahmata, the Purusha. Because it is sadhyam, the result is, what is the result? Because it can be attained, it can be gained, result is Swarupa Avabodha. From the relative standpoint, we can attain the knowledge of one's own true real nature. So, moksha means one's own Swarupa. Moksha means what? Now gaining connects. Moksha means what? One's own Swarupa. If it is one's own Swarupa, getting the result? From the relative standpoint, yes, there is sadhyam, there is sadhana, there is sadhaka. So the result is Swarupa Avabodha, realizing one's own true nature. Once you are in the state of that mukti, can mukti be a result? No, pure consciousness. One's own Swarupa, attaining one's own Swarupa is a result. Already you are there, is it a result? So, but in transaction, Brahma Bhava Upadesha gets the result. Just as the shell is shell, even before the appearance of silver, while the appearance of silver, after the removal of silver. So it became shell. What became shell? How can it become? That becoming itself is wrong. But from the relative standpoint, removal is there, so becoming is there. So, Brahma Bhava Upadesha is the result. So that is how we can understand the Anirodho, Nachotpattihi, Nabadho, Nachasādhakaha, Namumkshuku, Namayamuktaha, Ityesha Paramarthaha. This is the absolute state. Absolute state. There is no nothing, there is no resolution, there is no origination, there is no one who is bound, there is no one who is attempting to do some practice, there is no one seeker after liberation, there is no liberated. All this is only transactional, which is only an appearance. In reality, Brahman alone is. So he said, then again, Ramarayaka says, Brahman alone is again citing Brihad Upanishad, Brahma Vayam Grasi, Tad Atmanameva, Vedaham, Brahmasmiti Tasmat Sarvam Abhavat. So Brahman alone was in the beginning, it knew itself as I am Brahman, therefore it became everything. Mazuna also cited, Ramarayaka also citing the same thing. So that Brahman does not know itself as I am Brahman. That Brahman, which is this, does not know itself as I am Brahman. Hence Ajnana is established in Brahman. As of now. So due to Ajnana, the same Brahman experiences this duality and the internal organ and the body and the senses, so on and so forth. Because it is experiencing so on and so forth, it has got so many knots in the heart, so many attachments are there, so many bondages are there. So what is to be done? Then Ramarayaka said, Vidyate Hridaya Grandhi, Chidhyante Sarva Samsayaha, Chiyante Chasya Karmani, Tasmin Drushte Paravane. So, when one realizes that one is Akshara Swarupa, one's own true nature is Akshara Purusha, not Shara Purusha. Imperishable, pure consciousness, then what happens? Then Vidyate, things leave. Chidhyante, they are cut asunder. Chiyante, they decline. What leave? Vidyate Hridaya Grandhi, the knots of the heart they leave. They will not remain anymore. The inside bondages inside the heart, the knots are gone. And then Chidhyante Sarva Samsayaha, all the doubts are cut asunder. And Chiyante Chasya Karmani, all karmas will decline. No more karmas will be there. When all karmas decline, when all doubts are cut asunder, and all knots of the heart leave, when we know our true nature as Akshara Purusha. Tasmin Drushte Paravane. When we know that we are that divinity, when we know that the subjectivity is divinity, that is absolute manifestation of divinity as subjectivity, then there is only oneness and there is nothing else. Then all these things leave. So, Ramarayaka says, Brahma Rupa Jiva, due to Dvaita Adhyasa, gets the samsara. He gets the samsara because of Adhyasa, superposition, the Brahma Rupa Jiva. So, to eradicate this, one needs Brahmopadesha. Through Brahmopadesha, all duality will vanish and Swarupa Sakshatkara will take place, realization of one's own true nature. So, this Asi in Tattvam Asi is established by Shruti. Ramarayaka says, this Asi in Tattvam Asi. Hence, Asi, art, teaches or imparts the knowledge of oneness. That thou art. Art is imparting knowledge of that, and this as oneness. So that art is important. That art is Brahma Bhava Upadesha. That art is teaching oneness. That art is established by Ramaraya. In that thou art, Tat Tvam Asi. Asi is valid. Asi is useful. Asi is purposeful. Asi is helpful. That is what is required. It imparts the knowledge of oneness. This teaching is not useless. According to Ramaraya, it is important, valid. Teaching is important. But once the teaching has come, once you attend there, then what? Then na shastra, na shastram. That's all it is. Nothing else is there. Naham yogi, no yogi narahi, naham rodhi, naiva kami nalodhi, naham vadho, nabhiyukto namukta, sakshi nityah. Naham yogi, no yogi narahi, naham rodhi, naiva kami nalodhi, naham vadho, nabhiyukto namukta, naham vadho, nabhiyukto namukta, sakshi nityah pratyageva asmi, sakshi nityah pratyageva asmi. Exactly matches with the sloka which we have seen. Naham yogi, no yogi narahi, naham yogi. 2-3 ways it is interpreted. 2 ways at least. Naham yogi, I am not the one who is practicing yoga. Very good, I am also like that only. I am only like that because I am very lazy. I don't want to get up and I don't want to do anything. So I will follow the advice in Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta. Naham yogi. But other things also you are there or what? This is one way. Second thing is, Naham yogi. Yoga is also means united. Because next statement is yogi. That means united with the family. I am not the one who is united with the family. This is difficult. Naham yogi, no yogi narahi. I am not a yogi. I am not the one who is renounced to family also. I can't tell him never renounced. I छोड़ दिया, सब ये छोड़ दिया, वो काशी गए भाई वो छोड़ दिया, क्या छोड़ दिया? जो useless था वो छोड़ दिया. Whatever was useless and not even. That chodana is only to test the ego's hold. Our attachments, anything that we are attached is always occupying our mind with that thought, that you believe, that is great. So whatever it is. Naham yogi, no yogi narahi. I am not the one who has any relationship with yoga. I am not the one who has any relationship with any family. I am not the one who does not have any relationship with any family or relatives. 2 different ways. Naham yogi, no yogi narahi. I am not having any attachment with anything. I am not a ragi. I am not having any attachment. I am not having any infatuation, any excessive inclination, excessive interest in anything. I don't have. Naham yogi, no yogi narahi. Naham krodhi. I am not the one who has any anger. सुबह से शाम तक क्रोधी है, कभी क्या बोलते हैं? Now you can tell this. Only you can tell your family member. You in ignorance are perceiving me as Jiva, krodhi. Actually, in the original swarupa, Naham krodhi, naiva rami nalobhi. I am not the one who has any anger. I am not the one who has any desire or lust. I am not having any desire. I am not bound by it. I am not the one who is having any greed. No greed. All these are connected to the internal organ, that jivatva. Naham krodhi, naiva kami nalobhi, naham vadho, naham vadho. I am not the one who is bound. Where is the bondage for me when I know that I am the one pure consciousness? Where is the Maya? Where is the Vidya? Where is the reflection? Where is this superimposition? All these are not. Naham Vadho, Napi Yukto Anutta. I am not Yukta also. Yukta has got again the variety interpretation. Yukta, it means here, I am not a saint who has become one with the Supreme Spirit. I am not a saint who has become one with the Supreme Spirit. What is the question of becoming a saint and becoming one with the Supreme Spirit? I am always that. In that angle, it has to be seen. Naham Vadho, Napi Yukto Anutta. Napi Yukta. And then I am not the one who is skillful, active, clever, experienced, proper, reasonable, right. These all only at limited level we say, I am active, I am experienced, I am clever, I am intelligent, I am skillful, all this. That's why he said, I am neither of these things. Naham yogi, no yogi, narari, naham krodhi, naiva kami, nalobi, naham vadho, napi yukto, namukta, namukta. I am not even the one who is liberated. Then what am I? Sakshi Nityaha Pratyageva Asmi. I am, what am I then? Eternal witness, which is the innermost self alone am I. Eternal witness and the innermost self alone am I. Sakshi Nityaha Pratyageva Asmi. Eternal witness and the innermost self alone am I. Subjectivity, eternal witness. The divinity which is subjectivity, the divinity which is eternal witness in consciousness alone am I. What am I then? I am this. Not anything else. So from this angle, what is said, na shastra, same thing. So all that we need to know that I am the one who is one with that supreme consciousness. So that alone has to be Brahma Bhava Upadesha. That's all we need to know. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Atma Brahma, Prajnana Brahma. Is all we need to know. Yes, I am that divinity. If I exist, God exists. Because divinity exists. The absolute expression of divinity is subjective. And God alone exists as I. That we need to know. That we need to understand. That alone is that. We will see other things later. Om Vagishvaraya Vidmahe Hayagrivaya Dhimahi Tanno Hayagriva Prachodayat Om Akshareshwaraya Vidmahe Mantrarajaya Dhimahi Tanno Hayagriva Prachodayat Om Hamsasoham Vishwavatirna Rupaya Chinmayananda Rupini Tubhyam Namo Hayagriva Vidyarajaya Vishnave Swaha Hamsasoham Om Shri Om Om Namo Bhagavate Hayagrivaya Vishnave Madhyam Medha Prajna Prayachasva Hayagriva Mangalam Hayagriva Mangalam Vishnave Mangalam Vishnave Mangalam Vidyaraja Mangalam Vidyaraja Mangalam Vishnave Mangalam Vishnave Mangalam Hayavadana Mangalam Hayavadana Mangalam
विष्णवे मंगलम
विष्णवे मंगलम
विष्णवे मंगलम
हयग्रीव 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 मंगलम
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु